Okay, so in today's video about Telcoin, I want to check out this move down right in here and tell you why we shouldn't really be worried about Telcoin at the moment. And overall, in my opinion, despite the recent move down, we are still looking very much optimistic. So with that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're having a great time with your family and loved ones. And if you remember, in the previous video, we talked about the possibility of having an A, B, C in form of a zigzag structure. And I was saying, if we see kind of overlapping of the waves between this move down and also this one, at that point, we are going to say instead of an ABC, maybe overall, we are going to have some sort of a flat structure. Now, before we talk about that possibility, let me tell you this. If you believe that our bull run in Telcoin is over, okay, you must be able to find in this whole move on the upside, starting from this point and ending to about this high, a 5-wave impulsive structure. And here is my question for you. How exactly are you able to find an impulse in here? To me, it seems like that we are having a very clear A, correction for wave B, and another move on the upside into our C leg. And that's why I'm going to argue in Telcoin, a correction structure started from this high, and the end of it is going to be somewhere around the recent price action. Who knows, maybe even a bit lower, doesn't really matter. Now, our correction can be in different forms, but I still stand by what I said. For now, let's just say we are going to have a running flat, which is going to look like this. This is our initial move down into a correction for wave B, which in it we are going to take this high and then another move down into our C leg. And assuming that we are having a running flat in here, in this final phase, we are not going to take the low of our A leg. If we are going to take it, and for example, we're going to have this structure, this is called an expanded flat. Nonetheless, the subwaves for both of them are pretty much the same. We are going to have ABC down into A, ABC up into B, or maybe even a WXY. Personally, I don't really care. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down into wave C. Let's go on the live chart and see what is happening. So I'm thinking from this point in Telcoin, we may have ABC down into A, ABC up into B, and another impulse on the downside into our C leg. Or you can say maybe this is like a triangle to about this point. I guess that's also a possibility. Generally, I believe this is an ABC down. Followed by that, I told you earlier, I'm thinking this is another ABC on the upside. And from this high, if I am able to find to about the lowest low in this region, a 5-wave impulsive structure down, I can actually tell you in Telcoin, probably the bottom is set. And here is one likely count that I can think of. So from, I would say probably this point, this can be wave 1, correction for 2, another move down into wave 3 to about this point, correction for 4. This overlapping of the waves, in my opinion, is kind of forgivable. Do not worry about that one. And another move down into wave 5. Also, in this initial move on the downside, we are having another impulsive structure. And we can say maybe we are having 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down into wave 3, correction for 4. And this is actually our final move down into wave 5. Does this mean that our move on the downside right in here is over? I would say probably not, and here is why. Let's go on 15-minute chart. So into this 5-wave down, we must be able to find a complete impulse on the downside. However, I'm thinking at the moment we are on our way to complete that structure. This might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave down into, I would say probably a larger degree wave 3, and then correction for 4, another move down into wave 5. So we are definitely close to complete this whole structure on the downside and to the end of our move down. But I would say maybe we are not there yet. Sure, I guess I can find some sort of an impulse to work in here in order for me to be able to say this is over. But I do not believe that right now we should jump into that kind of unnecessary bullish conclusion. Let's just wait this one out. And I would say probably in the next couple of days, we're going to have a better understanding of what is happening in here. But overall, again, I stand by what I said in the previous videos. I'm thinking this might be an A, B, C flat structure. And then what's gonna happen? We talked about it before. In terms of classic technical analysis, meaning support and resistances, we got a break of this important resistance area, which is now actually going to act as a support region. And because above here, we're not having a whole lot of strong resistances, I'm gonna say we are going to have, after this short-term move down in TEL is over, a big move up in form of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order to reach to about the next important level all the way up here between 1.8 to about, let's say, like 2 cents area. So in terms of overall structures, we are, in my opinion, still looking fantastic. And maybe after completing this 5-wave up, you're going to be able to say, you know what, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave up. And maybe at that point, we are going to start having a much deeper move on the downside. And even right now, that is not guaranteed. So right now, I believe it is way too soon to be completely bearish on Telcoin. And my final point, in terms of how deep the current move down can be, I think because the subwaves for this 5-wave down is not complete yet, but we are kind of at the end of it, we can actually go and reach to about the lower band of this region, which is around 0.0048. In other words, from the current point, we can have about like another 20% move on the downside, and odds are our move down at that point is going to be over. So let's have our final conclusion and wrap up today's video. In Telcoin overall, despite the recent move down, not a whole lot has changed, and I still believe that we are having a correction structure down overall in this area. And the main reason for it is because in this phase on the upside, I cannot find an impulsive structure. That's why I'm gonna say this is an A, B, C flat, and soon, maybe after like a 15 to 20% move down, our correction is going to be over and we are going to start the next phase of the bull run, which in it, I think we can have from these areas like a 2 to potentially even 300% move up in order to reach to about this important region between 1.8 to about 2 cents for the first target. And if we get a break of it, well, the next target I'm thinking is probably going to be taking the highest high in this area all the way up here around 6.5 cents. But for now, again, let's just not have that as a very likely target. Let's just stick with our first target, and even according to that, we can have like a 2 to 300% move. So I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Telcoin's price chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next video, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.